like this move, Val?
I love that move. I call that the seal.
I call this one "Who farted?" Who farted? What's up, everybody? What's up, twitch.tv/The Trident Network. Thank you for tuning in live, or if you're listening to this on a podcast in the future, thank you also. However, you are choosing to intake this, we love you, we appreciate you, we thank you. This is I Love Improv with Trent Dozier. I am the titular Trent Dozier, and we're back, baby! Oh my God, it's been so long. It's been a month of travel throughout September for not only me, but our technical producer, Val Agnew, who I'm sure all of you heard a little earlier because I just asked her a question. So why don't we bring her in now? Everybody say, what's up to Val Agnew? What's up, Val?
What's up, Trent? I'm so happy to be back. Although I'd be lying if I said I hadn't seen you in the intervening time between our last episode and this one.
Yes, of course, we teased about a month ago that Val and I would be seeing each other in person very soon. And that was, in fact, why we had to take off the whole month of September, because first Val and her wonderful husband, Michael, were celebrating their anniversary, and they chose to do so at Disneyland. And you know who lives near Disneyland? Me. So along with former guest of the show and composer of the theme song, Nia D'Amelio, the four of us went to Disneyland, and it was a blast. And then lo and behold, but a few short weeks later, Nia and I found ourselves in Chicago, and we went over to Val and Mike's, hung out. It was great.
It was great. It was so great. I can't believe I got to see you in person twice in a month.
I know, especially since I don't think I've seen you in person in like a year prior to that.
That is accurate.
Well, we're here now. We're back on Zoom, which is mine and Val's preferred form of communication with each other. Just kidding, of course. I love seeing Val in person. I love seeing all my friends in person. Of course, as we mentioned, this show, I Love Improv with Trent Dozier, is a part of the Trident Network. The Trident Network, of course, is a three-pronged provider of entertainment. One of those prongs is through podcasts, which, of course, this show is. One of those prongs is through Twitch shows, which, of course, this show also is. And then one of those prongs is through pre-taped video content, which technically this show also is. So I've said it before. I'll say it again. We're the perfect show, baby. Val, we got some cool stuff coming up on the Trident Network, the Trident Network, streaming and podcast alike. Coming up on Monday, or last Monday if you're listening to this on a podcast, I don't know. You know what? Tune in to the Trident Network or twitch.tv/the Trident Network. Subscribe and you'll be notified anytime we're going live. Go ahead, Val.
I was going to say, actually, you're right both times, because Stupid Games, Stupid Prizes is doing an unprecedented back-to-back Mondays.
Unprecedented. Stupid Games, Stupid Prizes, the most fun trivia on the whole of the internet. Also, the Witching Hour is back on Wednesday, which will be next Wednesday, I'm assuming, because that's Wednesday right now.
It is.
At least Wednesday for those of us live on Twitch. Mm-hmm. Maybe it is a Wednesday for you on a podcast. I don't know. And then also something to look forward to. October 24th, that's a Monday. There's going to be a special Trident Halloween trivia night live on Twitch. Val, would you like to speak to that a little bit more?
Yeah, so it's participatory. So bring yourself, bring a team, however you want to do it. You can all be in one place. You can all be on a Zoom, and you can compete against people from all over the place in your Halloween knowledge. And
wow,
I don't know, maybe there will be a prize. Who knows?
Sanderson sisters. That's got to be an answer, right?
Probably.
Nice. Nailed it. Okay, and then on the podcast side, we have two new podcasts that have debuted on the Trident Network. First of which, Gone But Not Forgotten, about celebrities who died too young. And second of all, Stool Pigeons, what's the proper word for it? Not board game.
Tabletop RPG.
Tabletop RPG podcast. So those are both here now on the Trident Network. Go subscribe to those. Check those out. Two very different things, but two very cool things. And of course, We don't know when the return will be per se. I know that some irons are in the fire, as they say. But one of my favorite podcasts in general, let alone on the Trident Network, Disney Adult, just wrapped up another season. So go back, listen to those old episodes of Disney Adult. Stay tuned in for the new season. Of course, the host, Devin Henderson, previous guest of I Love Improv with Trent Dozier.
Mm-hmm.
Val, any other final thoughts, or should we get to this week's guest?
I did forget one other thing, one other
Oh,
plug.
please plug away.
Since we're hitting our two other branches, we had a new web series come out on our
Oh,
YouTube called Neat
okay.
Freaks, all about
I did see
professional
something about this.
organizers. Very
Yes.
fun, and it's a quick watch. Highly recommend watching their 3-episode season.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about. I'll try to mention them. I'm writing it down again. I'll try to mention them again right now at the end.
Great.
Or later, I should say, at the end of the episode. Okay, Val, are we ready to do some freaking improv?
Let's do some improv.
Enough jibber jabber. This week, I'll give a very short introduction because I'm about to heap loads of praise upon him. This is someone who is one of the most important people in my improv life. Easily a top 5 influence on me improvisationally. He molded my dirty little mind and he created the improviser you see before you. Please say hello to one of the owners, one of the founders of my home theater, Made Up Theater. Everybody, if you're in the chat right now, say what's up to this week's guest, Sean Taylor. Hey, Sean.
Hey. I apologize for Trent. I apologize for his mind. All the blame is on me.
Well, not all of it. There's a lot of blame to go around, but yeah, we'll do it. Over the course of the next 45 minutes or so, we're gonna try to really make amends for the last decade and a half of me going wild on stage.
I don't know if an hour will be enough, but
yeah.
we're gonna dig into it.
That's the time that we've allotted for ourselves today. As I mentioned, Sean is, of course, one of the owners and founders of the Made Up Theater. And if you are watching this live on Twitch, or maybe you're watching the video at a later date, but you can see behind him, Sean is at the Made Up Theater. Wow! Fremont,
I'm mostly
California.
here because when during the pandemic, when I taught just like in kind of like a living room, but also in the kitchen area as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that just because my room had bad Wi-Fi. So I was afraid of losing connection. And generally when I taught was when Ben decided to cook. And also when Ben would play Fortnite out in the living room. So during my class, he'd be like, God damn it. And I'd just be like, no, good scene, gang. So, I got an Ethernet connection here.
Yeah.
I got a nice little setup. It feels
it's
nice
a better
here.
setup. It's a better setup, and Ben can be kept on his chain back at the house, and you can have free reign over at the theater. Uh-oh. Wow, that's so funny because Sean just froze after talking about his great...
All right, folks, we will be back momentarily.
Stay with us. Hey, are you there, Sean?
I think so. I don't
Okay,
know.
so
That's never happened before. I swear to God.
the first thing I love about Sean Taylor is his comedic timing. Nothing funnier than talking about how good your internet is right before your internet craps out. Uh,
It's
well,
Comcast business. What can I say?
uh, honestly, better than Spectrum. Okay, moving on. Uh, Sean, we're glad to have you here. Of course, if you're listening to this on a podcast, it will be like no time has passed. But for those of you in the stream, thanks for sticking with us. It was to be fair to Sean, only a mere couple of minutes, but here we are. And now here we go. Sean,
Yes.
are you ready to receive some compliments from me about your improv?
No.
Okay, well,
No.
we'll circle back to it then.
Quick, before
first,
my internet cuts out, man.
yeah. Please say nice things before my internet
Please.
freezes. Of course, Sean and I are about to do some improv, and we would love a suggestion for that. Now, before we get a suggestion, a water bottle would be a great suggestion. But what we are looking for here on I Love Improv with Trent Dozier is heartier, meatier suggestions. So, like, Sean and Trent are two football players who are fighting over the last bottle of water, and Sean secretly wants to be a pirate, and Trent has illegitimate children running around the state of Nevada, whatever, something like that, something deep, something in depth, something with meat on the bone for us to jump into right away. Now, if you've seen Sean or I perform, great. Feel free to start throwing out suggestions now. But if you've never seen either of us perform, I'm about to, as I just alluded to, compliment Sean. And based on those compliments, that might inform what type of scene you want to see us do. I don't know. But as I teased, we're finally here. Sean, here's the compliments. As I said, Sean, and this is not hyperbole, Sean is truly one of the 5 most important people to me in terms of shaping who I am now as a performer. Um, as a First of all, as a teacher, incredible. I feel like you're very patient and understanding with everybody. And you also do a really good job of pushing students when they need to be pushed. And this is like kind of a general thing, but like you're very good. You're like a great moderator. Like if somebody says something offensive in class, you don't immediately jump on them or go the opposite way and don't handle it like at all. You're very good at like if anything happens, positive, negative, whatever, you're always the person who I look to like, okay, what's Sean gonna do here? Because he will lead us in the right way. That and I got to it. You're a great leader. You're a wonderful leader. Obviously, what you do for Made Up Theater is incredible. And then as a performer yourself, to me, you are truly one of the most versatile performers I've ever seen, and you are one of my favorite people to watch of all time. You can flip on a dime from the straight man to a wild character like nobody's business. And I think the best part about you as an improviser is you are excellent, in my opinion, at doing all of those things from straight man to wild man to everything in between. I'm never like, oh, Sean's being the straight man, tough, or Sean's being the wild man, tough. Anytime you're doing anything, I'm just like genuinely, you're like the ultimate utility player, especially in Made Up Theater, where I do feel like everybody has pretty defined roles, myself included. When I play with 5 Play, I feel like a lot of us have very defined roles, and you're the most fluid of everybody. And honestly, that's the type of player I always strive to be, is a fluid player, a flow player, a Sean Taylor player, if you will. I want to be someone who can navigate the show seamlessly. You're also a great like show manager. You know what's happening, you know what needs to happen, you know what the show has had too much of or too little of. um I mean, I guess what I'm building to is I think you might be one of my favorite improvisers of all time. And I think I truly mean that. And
You love
I
me?
I
You're
love
telling me right
and
now?
I
Oh,
love you.
God.
I
Oh my
love you,
God.
Sean.
You
I
finally
do.
said it.
I do love you. I respect you. I don't know if I love you, but I do respect you. So,
Okay.
no, I love Sean. Um, and yeah, once I start rambling, I think I should wrap it up. So those are all my nice things about Sean. Sean, do you think that was too nice, not nice enough? Did I nail it perfectly? How are we feeling? What are we thinking?
I don't know. Do I get to respond? Like, do I get to compliment you?
If you want to, I typically rush away so that no one else can compliment me, but I guess the floor is yours.
Oh, Trent. No, like, I mean, I'll keep it short since we got a set to get into, and my internet's probably going to cut out again. But I really appreciate, like you were the one person I feel like I took the quickest to, like, really, like, trust, outside of, like, the core owners. But even the core owners, when I first met them, like, some of them I were intimidated by. Like, I was very intimidated by Ben, for example.
Yeah.
But like, when you were added, like, I felt like that innate sense of trust. Like, I even remember, like, doing a 3-person show with you and Dustin. And we generally didn't do a lot of shows where, like, oh, 2 people, like, 5 play, 2 of them are not here. It's just me, you, and Dustin. I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
But I was also like, man, Trent is kind of filling in those roles really well. So we did actually, like, an improvised narrative. And I remember to this day what it was called. There was, like, some stone guy in the front, and we asked a suggestion. He was just kind of, like, saying the title as though it was coming to his head. And he was just like, yeah, Barney, the fat ass dinosaur who walked through a door, or something like that. That's what the title was, and we took it exactly like that. And yeah, we just did, like, a really fun story where, it was just the 3 of us, playing possibly multiple roles, but it felt so seamless. And it was like, oh, we can do this not without, like, it doesn't always have to be the core 4 of us, myself,
Yeah.
Bobby, Ben, and Dustin. We can have people cycle in and fill in those roles. And I think you do an excellent job of filling in those roles while also, like, just being the lovable guy you are with that shirt.
Oh, thank you.
Like, look at him. Compliment his shirt.
Yeah.
All 1,000 of you in chat right now.
Thank you. Yeah, we have 1,000 people tuned in right now. For those of you on a podcast, it's a bright orange shirt with pineapples all over it. I'm living that Maui lifestyle every day that I can. Well, thank you, Sean. I appreciate that a lot. You're, like I said, you're one of my favorite people to play with. Okay, if you've got a suggestion, throw it into the chat, please. Please throw it into the chat. If you've already thrown something into the chat, thank you. Val, how's everything looking?
Well, we have a suggestion from your one and only. If you'd like to run with that.
Yeah, I'm great with that. I'm ready. Honestly, now that Sean and I have both complimented each other, I'm rocking and rolling, ready to do some flipping improv with this guy.
All right, let's do some flipping improv. Here is the suggestion. It's Christmas Eve. Your parents putting presents around the tree while your children are asleep upstairs. It was a long road to Christmas, but you made it.
Okay. Thank you, Val. Thank you, Nia.
Have fun, guys.
Nia can probably hear me from the other room. Thank you, Nia. David, turn the lights back on.
Dude, we need to go to sleep.
No, I can hear Mom and Dad. I still want to. I think we can get down there.
Jared, we need to be good children. Those presents could just disappear immediately. So go back to bed. Turn off your lights.
I can't find the switch.
Jared?
Okay, I've turned it off.
Good. Go to bed, okay? Tomorrow's going to be the greatest day of our lives.
Okay.
And we need to be respectful of the tradition. Be respectful.
Don't say that into my ear like that. David, are you still awake?
No, I'm sleeping.
Are you? But you answered me. Are you still awake?
I said go to bed, man.
Ah!
Go to bed.
I want to. I can hear Mom and Dad down there. You think you think Santa's down there with them right now?
Let me check. Mom and Dad aren't even down there.
What the hell? Then what are we? Are you hearing what I'm hearing, or am I crazy?
Do you think it's him?
The big man?
The big man. Dude, he could come up here any second, man. We know, like, what Santa does when he's...
keep talking.
Oh my God, I'm on pins and needles right now.
No, you can keep talking. I just wanted to turn off my light in case Santa emerged.
Oh my God. What did you ask for?
I asked for 2 dogs, twin dogs, and then I asked for a new Tonka truck, one of those life-size ones that I can drive around in the car or in the cul-de-sac, I mean. And then I also asked for a new pair of rollerblades along with some knee pads and some elbow pads and some wrist pads so I don't scuff up too bad. And then I asked for a new baseball bat, and then I think I wanted like Halloween candy, but at Christmas time.
Oh my God.
What did I do Christmas wrong?
Yes, you did Christmas wrong. Do you know what I wish for?
You wish?
All of those same things, but for you.
What?
I'm not selfish, man. I want you to have a good Christmas. And then I hope that you want me to have a good Christmas. And then we all have a good Christmas together.
Okay, I feel like you're tricking me because you asked me what I asked for, and you told me what you wished for. And those are 2 different things. Asking and wishing are 2 different things. And this feels like because you're 3 years older than me, you have 3 more years of knowledge, and it feels like you're trying to trick me in some way and make me seem like the bad guy, but I'm not the bad guy.
You know what? You don't deserve Christmas.
No, I do. I've been equally good or bad. What are you doing? Don't go down there.
Show's over. Just
What?
Go. Take it. Take it away. Take all of it.
No, Mom and Dad
Come
have
on,
gave
get
it.
out.
No.
Go.
Who's even down there? I can't get down from the top bunk as fast as you can get down from the
It's
bottom
over.
bunk.
Christmas is canceled.
Why? I didn't
Canceled.
even.
Because you decided to be selfish, Jared. I didn't teach that. I'm 3 years older than you, but I'm trying to impart my extra 3 years of experience on you. And the number one thing I say every night when we say our prayers is, Dear God, let me not be a selfish being on this planet.
I know.
And you say those with me, just like you just did.
I know.
And what happened?
I didn't. That I wasn't. You asked what I asked for. You didn't ask what I wish. This is crap. Turn your light back on. I can't reach your light.
Dude, don't touch my switch.
I want to.
Stop it.
No, I want to talk to you. I don't think Christmas.
I just want to go to bed because tomorrow is just going to be a normal day. It's just a normal day. We're just going to have a normal day. Wake up.
Tomorrow's Christmas Day.
Oh, it's Christmas Day. No, it's a normal day.
No, we're all getting
December
presents.
26th, buddy.
No,
Christmas is canceled here.
No, I didn't do anything wrong. You're gaslighting me, probably.
Oh, I'm gaslighting you?
Probably. I'm not positive what that word means yet, but I've heard Mom use it when talking to Dad. I've heard Mom and Dad talk about gaslighting.
Why do you think they're not here right now?
Well, they're probably
That was just bullshit, man. No one's downstairs. Santa wasn't downstairs. I just feel like something's up.
You think Mom and Dad are in their bed right now? And that's probably why we haven't heard them?
Well, they probably definitely heard me.
I guess that's a good point.
I mean, I feel like they're just not here, you know? Like I could see with my vision, the car keys are gone.
Yeah. We had to make dinner for ourselves tonight.
Yeah. It was good.
Yeah. You got really good at making spaghetti sauce out of the can.
I'm sorry I didn't get the spaghetti.
No, I didn't mean that as
it's kind of
like
like spaghetti-os without the O's.
Yeah, I don't mind eating like a marinara soup. I didn't need noodles are so heavy anyway in my tummy, you know?
Yeah. I'm trying. You know, I feel like look, I'm not saying this will happen. But if Mom and Dad theoretically break up and hold on.
Okay,
don't
I'm
panic.
listening. I'm listening.
Don't panic. I might need to step in. I got to be dad.
What?
You know, dad might leave. What if dad just goes to the East Coast? We're on the West Coast. He may never visit us.
The
So
East
I got to fill that
Coast?
role. Yeah.
Oh, that's so far away. You don't think
No.
it's possible, right?
I mean, we're
If
in
they're-
Milpitas, and he's been talking about what's that place in South Dakota?
South Dakota's not the East Coast.
Oh, South Carolina.
Oh,
South Carolina.
Greenville.
No,
Oh,
it's another one.
Columbus.
Name a few more.
Oh, that might be the two South Carolina cities I know.
It's the
Greenville.
one. Raleigh.
Raleigh's in North Carolina.
Damn it. Look, I'm just saying, he might be leaving. So when we wake up tomorrow, it might seem like it's Christmas, but we'll know in our hearts that things are about to change.
So to be clear, it will be Christmas tomorrow?
Well, on the calendar it will be, but in our hearts, who knows?
But if mom and dad both aren't here, isn't it logical to think that they're out together? And so maybe you won't have to be dad after all.
Look, I hope that, Jared, that is the best case scenario. Okay?
Okay.
But I want to be prepared in case I have to be. Now
Okay.
go to your room.
I'm in my room.
Go to your bed.
I'm in bed. I'm on the top.
Turn
bunk.
off your light.
Ugh.
Good. So as an adult now, I get to stay up late.
What?
And
That's not fair.
no, off. Thank you. I'm gonna stay up late.
What? That's not fair.
Off.
Ugh.
I'm gonna stay up late. Okay.
That's not fair.
No.
Ugh.
Good. You know what? You go to the spare room.
What? No, the spare room's scary. That's
I
where
know.
dad keeps all his bones for science.
Well, you need to go there as punishment because you're defying me, who might be your dad at some point.
No.
I know you think of us as just brothers, but we might need to redefine this whole relationship, okay? And you
You'll
need to
never
look at
be my
me as
dad.
the authoritative figure.
You'll
Don't
never
talk
be
back
my
to me.
dad. You'll
Don't
never
talk
be
back
my
to me.
dad. You'll
Turn your
never be
light
my
off.
dad. You'll
Turn
never
your
be my
light
dad.
off.
Why don't you
Turn
come
your
up-
light off.
You come up here and turn my light off. You'll never be my dad. I could beat you up. No, David, don't leave. David, don't leave. David. No, David, I'm scared. Even though all the lights are on. David, I'm sorry. Dadvid, I'm sorry. Can I call you Dadvid? Like you're my dad, but you're. Oh no, David, something's happening with the lights. David. Okay, well, I didn't turn off my light, but it just went out. David, I feel like maybe something happened. Did you flip a switch or something? What the hell? David, there's a man.
I've heard you've been bad this holiday season. Is that true?
Sir, you
Defy your father.
technically, I guess I was more defying my brother who's trying to stake a claim as the patriarch of the family.
Your brother trying to be a responsible adult, trying to take on a role that might be cast upon him without any notice, and you linger in adolescence. You are naughty.
I don't mean to be, and David. David.
Turn off my light.
No, nobody did that. Something.
Look.
I didn't turn on my light. I
I'm
think
sorry.
I was.
I went to splash some water in my face. I feel better now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I was being a little rough on you. I feel like
Mhm.
I gave you a lot of stuff to soak in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
I'm
Like,
soaked.
what?
I'm soaked.
I know. I gave you a lot of emotions. Like, I mean, you don't want your brother coming in and saying your parents might be getting divorced.
No, David.
Huh?
I'm literally.
I'm trying to apologize to you.
No,
and you
I
just
know.
make this about you.
No, I'm
well,
not.
fine.
No,
Forget
I'm
it.
literally soaked. David, I peed my David, it's wet up here. And the guy looked like Ronald Reagan.
What are you doing, Jared?
Actually, it's more like Nixon. He looks more like Nixon.
Jared, don't compare me to American presidents of the past. I'm in the now. I am in the present. You are not changing to better your future when
I'm
your brother
soaked.
returns. I
I'm soaking.
expect you to apologize.
I'm soaking again, David.
Ha!
David.
All right.
Please.
You turn up my light again.
I didn't.
I'm trying really hard, Jared.
Me
I'm trying
too.
to be a good. I'm trying to be a good brother.
I'm sorry.
Please. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I think Richard Nixon was in here, and Richard Nixon was in here telling me about how I'm a bad kid, and then I peed the bed twice.
Jared, that's silly. Like, I just left for like 2 minutes.
I know, but that was
Nothing-
all the time Richard Nixon needed.
Richard Nixon is not alive. Why would he be? Look.
That's what I think. I think that's what I'm saying. I think the ghost of Richard Nixon was telling me, does Richard Nixon have an important connection to Santa Claus or Christmas? Is that why he's here? Is he our most Christmas-related president? Is that why I'm being punished in this way? Is he was he born on December 25th? Or did Watergate happen on December 25th? Or is he no, David! No! David? Oh, no. Oh, no. No, David, the lights went out again.
Oh! Seems like you are changing, Jared.
It's just
are you ready to change?
Am I crazy, or is it the way the light hits your face? You look exactly like Richard Nixon right now.
Oh. Well, do I?
Not so much now, but when you go, no, definitely not now.
Oh,
but when you look the other way,
This way?
yeah, and because of it, just looked like
Be a good boy, Jared.
I'm sorry. I just want to be a good boy.
I got you a present.
Thank you, Dad.
You called me Dad?
Yeah, I just want to be a better boy. Whether you're my brother or my dad, it doesn't matter to me anymore. I just want you in my life and to help me be safe.
Oh man, just call me brother.
Okay.
Hey, what you wish for Christmas? Maybe you're gonna find something special in there.
This is for me?
Yeah.
A baseball bat? Oh, it's a Louisville Slugger. Oh my God, there's more stuff in here.
Let's keep going.
It's all the stuff that I had mentioned earlier.
Yeah, say what it is as you take it out.
It's every single item that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah. Just reach in, pull it out so I can see it.
Rollerblades.
Yeah.
Every single thing I said before is in here.
Jared.
Wrist guards.
Yeah.
Knee pads. Elbow pads. All the other stuff that I wanted is in here too.
Did you get the Jeep?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pull it out. It's already charged, man. I charged it all night because I want this to be the best. Wait, there's 2 more things in there.
Dang. They're both in there.
It's look in there at the very bottom.
Wow, the other 2 things I wanted are in here.
The 2 twin Pomeranians you wanted.
Oh yeah, that's what I wanted. Live dogs. Oh my. Oh yeah. Yes. Thank you,
Hey.
David.
Don't call me dad. Well, you didn't. You called me David again, which is good.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be your dad. I want to be your brother.
I think I'm gonna name my dogs David and Jake. Wait, was that my name? That's the scene. Wait, was that my name?
I don't think so. Jared.
Jared. Ah!
Jared.
I knew it started with a J.
Oh my god. Mia knew your name.
Forgot.
I was waiting with bated breath to see if you could remember a single thing that you had mentioned at the top of the scene.
Oh man. It took me
I
long.
remember the first 2 things.
Okay, that's
And
funny
after
because
that-
I remembered the baseball bat and the rollerblades and everything that came with that. So you remembered the first half and I remembered the second half. So it actually worked out perfectly.
I stopped listening about I'm generally in my scenes about halfway through every sentence.
Yeah, and for me that makes a lot of sense because I don't start listening until about halfway through every sentence.
Oh, we just are yin and yang, man. We
Yeah,
fit so
we're
well.
perfect.
Perfect.
Oh, well, Sean, that was an absolute blast.
Yeah.
That was easily the most use of space that anyone has done on this show. And I would
That's why
say
I'm here.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here, because I have space now and I can play in it.
Mm-hmm.
I would say like probably 9 times out of 10 the performer on the other end is like me sitting in a chair with headphones on, and as you can see if you're on Twitch, my headphones are corded, so I'm literally attached to my laptop.
That looks like a cord you bought at like CVS.
No, these are my Beats by Dre that I've had for 15 years that are literally falling apart. Actually, I do think my headphone fell apart at the end of the last episode.
It fell apart. Yeah.
Yes.
It's fallen apart twice on the show while we were live.
Well, I've had them for a long time. But never have we had someone on AirPods and standing. I feel like we've had seated AirPod people, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
And of the couple people who have stood, I feel like they've been, I remember Rudy was standing and Noah was definitely standing.
And one other, oh no.
You think about it.
Joran.
Yes, Joran was standing.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, Noah and Joran were like 2 of the first 3 episodes, I think. So I was still figuring out what was going on. Rudy, I think, is the only true example of someone like really using their space. And him and I got in a fight across our screens and stuff. And that was really fun. But like, just to be able to see you, if you're listening to this on a podcast, honestly, seek out some of the clips or even the full set. Because like watching Sean walk away and use the door, and then I mean, you couldn't see this, but Sean, if you're on a podcast, I should say, but Sean was like changing the lights in the theater and stuff, and there was like a red lighting, and it was really cool. And just like, I mean, Sean, I think that set is a perfect example of what I love about you as an improviser, which is like you could stand around and talk and do improv all the live long day, and there are people who do that, and there are people that are great at that, but like you are so physical in not just like throwing your body around necessarily, but you're so physical in like using the space and using the tools provided. And I feel like that's something I love to do when I'm on a stage. And I mean, like I've said, you're a huge influence on me, and watching you do all that stuff now, I was like, yes, this is still the same performer who influenced me to make those same moves like 10 years ago. And I'm still making those moves today. So it was really cool to see you use the space.
This is
like that.
my first, I guess, prolonged Zoom show. Like a lot of our shows during pandemic, we opted to do myself, Ben, and Bobby. We lived together, so we opted to do in the room improv in our living room and kind of stream it on like Twitch and YouTube and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
the only like scenes I did on Zoom were mostly like in classes, like when I taught.
Yeah.
Like I always try to do like a scene when in my introductory classes. I always like to try to do a scene with them on like the first or second day,
Yeah.
just to kind of show them like, hey, you know, I'm here to support you. I'm here. I got your back. I'm never gonna like throw you under the bus. I'm here to accept your offers, and you know, even though you don't know me well, it's like you can trust that I'm here to make you look good, and I trust that you'll make me look good as well. And it's just kind of like, it's fun. I love performing with like people who are newer to improv because they don't have all those rules attached to them. They're very natural.
Yes.
And yeah, like, you know, the more people get into it, like, you know, it's still fun to perform with very advanced people, but it could be a little bit more complicated because, you know, they have a specific style. The people coming in first day, they don't have a style. They're just playing kind of close to themselves or more naturally. And I'm like, oh, this is fun. You know, I could do a scene like this for, you know, 30 minutes with just you, and you don't have any improv or theatrical experience, but you're just very easy to like, you listen to me, you accept my offers, and you're not thinking of like, you know, a game, or you're not thinking of like when we can get to another beat in the scene or something. So it's always fun to like do that. Like a lot of the times when I did Zoom shows, I was mostly just hosting them because I was kind of like the tech guy, and I knew how to press like the start streaming button. So it kind of didn't work in transition very well to like me performing. And also like I wanted to let the cast kind of do it. During pandemic, we didn't always have the opportunity to get them together. So the focus was on them more so than me, because it's like I was still performing pretty frequently every week, obviously in my, you know, with Ben and Bobby. So, you know, it, like I always like I can't like sit down and improvise. I even like in classes, like when I see people, or just in shows, like when I see people sit down, sometimes I'm always like, oh, please don't be there forever. Because I feel like there's just much more stuff to explore. And I see like the traditional improv scene that kind of makes me think, oh, please don't let this be the whole scene, is, oh, have a seat. You know, like the scene starts with, let's sit down and talk about something.
Yes.
Which is fine. Like, again, the words and scenes can be great and like so memorable, but I always like to make scenes visually stimulating as well. Like, I think that your scene should be understandable to someone who can't see and someone who can't hear equally.
Yeah.
They should be able to like understand. And, you know, when we're just standing and talking to each other, it could be like someone who can't hear, they're like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
But when you use your space, use your physicality and emotions and stuff, then it shows so much more, you know. And it's just fun. It was fun for me to just play to that whole like you talking and me just leaving, and just, you know, I like at first when I came in, it was being like the other character. I was kind of thinking maybe I was still just being my character, but just trying to scare you now. But I like that it kind of just turned into just, I'm this demon who just comes out and just kind of like is a reflection of just your inner turmoil as this child, and then coming back in and to just kind of reset. It kind of made more sense for that to happen. And yeah, I wasn't even just like, oh, we're in bed, I have a button here for my light, and I was just like, I'll just turn it off to see what happens. And I was like, oh, this actually looks pretty good.
Yeah,
and
it did.
It did.
Yeah, I
really
didn't
cool.
do that. I didn't think about that. And it was fun that you adapted too, you know, and just, even though you couldn't find your switch at first, I think that's fun because it was just like surprising. And I like to surprise people, and I like people to surprise me. I think that's the fun about improv.
I totally agree. That is my favorite thing, is getting surprised, whether it's by my scene partner or, you know, by myself. Like, feeling those moments of surprise is like so rewarding. I love what you said about not, so Cam and I, former guest of the show, Cam Hurt, who we all know, the three of us being, we all know. If you know Cam, you know Cam. But Cam and I, at our most recent show that we did, it was essentially a dance competition, and we weren't allowed to, like, if you stop dancing, then you're eliminated. And we did that for our full 15-minute set. And within that, we played a bunch of different characters. So it was all like, you know, very physical. We were running around. Obviously, Made Up Theater, huge influence on me in that way. And after the show, we were talking to one of our friends, and he was like, I feel like 9 out of 10 of the improv sets I do, it starts with someone saying, or it starts with like one or two people pulling chairs forward and sitting down and then trying to figure out what it was. And Cam, I love Cam, obviously. And he said in response, because he knows me so well at this point, he said, yeah, I typically never grab a chair to start because I know Trent won't grab a chair. And and he's right. I honestly feel like the scenes and the shows that I feel the worst about individually in my own individual performance are shows where I do start seated. So I love starting up, and like obviously this is a different medium, podcasts and Twitch and stuff, and I I can't trust my AirPods because it'll keep connecting to my phone or some weird stuff. So I use these corded headphones, and then so I'm like locked into the laptop per se. And there, I definitely wanted to like fall out of the top bunk at some point, but I also like it's my cord, if you can see here, is fraying at the thing,
That little
so I didn't want to
CVS cord
literally
there.
rip the cord out, and
Yeah.
then so all these thoughts were going into my mind, and Val knows this. I try to still play as physical as possible on this, and I feel like I do a pretty good job, but that's all just a long-winded way of saying you and me are aligned on that. It always feels better for me to like start with activity, and like when you're seeing a show, it's not just like what people are saying on stage. You're watching everything that's happening, and like upstage, downstage, you're watching the people in the wings too, if they're not actively in the scene. So like you always got to be thinking about what everybody's seeing, and like as a performer, I want to, like, if I'm on the wings, I want to look engaged so they'll see me and re-engage, and if I'm in the show, I want to be like, if you're an actor, if you're a background actor, you're not just like doing your own thing, you're reacting to what's happening or whatever. And even if you're not the focus in the improv scene, you can be reacting to what the main people are talking about in any given moment. And yeah, honestly, Cam and I have gotten a lot of compliments on our physicality over the last 6 months, especially here in LA. And every time, truly, Sean, I do think like this is my made up theater base, because that was like almost part of the teaching there. And it didn't feel like I did made up theater, and then I went in Chicago and took all these classes, and we were, like encouraged to be physical, I would say, I guess, but we weren't taught how to be physical, if that makes sense. And I felt like not just you, but all four of you did a really good job of like channeling that energy. For me specifically, channeled it perfectly.
And physicality doesn't need to be like death defying, like,
no, it doesn't.
If I play, for example, we do some stuff that I'm like, we might die.
Yeah.
And I always tell people like, oh, I want to improvise like you. And I'm just like, no, don't do that.
No, you do not.
Because there's been a few times, and it's like we do an extreme thing because there's trust built in. Like, obviously, the stuff we do, we've known each other for like over a decade, if not more. And we have that built-in trust where like if something goes wrong and like an injury happens, so it's just like, well, that's a risk we decided to take. But you should never assume that everybody's going to take that same risk. But anytime I like teach improv, the physicality is just like just grab something in the scene, or share an activity, or just do something. I always tell people the easiest way to start is just in silence, just silent activity, eye contact, starting to get those little subtle like gifts that start to imply what your relationship might be or how you feel about each other. And then when that line comes out, it's got so much more meat on the bone, as opposed to just like, oh, hey, want to sit down? It's just, I don't know. It's just like,
grab a seat. I'll also grab a seat.
Oh man, so many of the scenes. And it's not a bad thing, again, like I say, but there's just so much more that can be found in your space rather than feeling like you're just bound to like one spot on stage. Even like, not even just like physicality, but I also tell people like, I encourage them to like also move across the stage and like show more than one spotlit area, because there could be something really important that you can discover on stage right or stage left, and you'll only know if you actually deliberately get up and like go move somewhere and have your scene partner join you or whatever. It also just kind of shows like, it just kind of shows like a transition sometimes to a new moment or just a new discovery, just with that sense of movement. Because on stage we are kind of bound to one location, but we can show transitions to new moments or the next beat of the scene with actually physically, transferring ourselves on stage. And it's just something that like I feel like we get stuck. When we're stuck, we're not moving. We are literally stuck on the ground. And that starts to now be like, oh, I'm stuck in my head now because I'm stuck in the ground. And a lot of it has to do with we don't know where we are. We're just in a blank void. And like actually physically moving or grabbing something, or at least like physically interacting with your partner in some way. That's when it's like, I'm not stuck anymore because I know what's going on and I know how I feel.
I want to go back to something that you said early on, which is that you do a scene with your students. And I think, first of all, I've never had a teacher or even a coach do that ever.
Yeah.
So I want to just first of all remark on how cool that is that you do that, because I think that if I had had more teachers who built that trust and showed that level of humility right out of the gate, I probably would have gotten a lot more out of a lot more of my improv classes. I think that sort of shows as well that you are into like showing rather than just telling, which I think, I think that like part of why, I mean, Nia also said in the chat that like we are taught in Chicago to be grounded, which is probably why we sort of tend to be more cerebral and less like physical, which has its moments and merits as well. But
yeah,
like I can't think of a lot of teachers that I had or coaches that I had that were really, really physical or that used the space in their own shows.
yeah,
And certainly not in class or rehearsals. So it's cool to me that you are taking a different approach, and it's kind of neat to like find out that there are different like sort of cultures of improv, in different places. Like that's cool. But it's also really neat that you're like walking the walk, like with your students and for your students to see, because that's how they're going to get it themselves. Like if they're just being told to do something but they never see you do it, it's so much harder to internalize that and do it yourself.
Yeah, my first teacher was kind of a mystery to me. Like I didn't see him perform maybe for like 6 months after I started taking his classes. It was more of like a college course, so the class actually went around 6 months. But like there's an element of sometimes you just want to see your teacher do something on stage. And I didn't always do this. I actually started doing scenes with my students during the pandemic, because I was like, oh, this is already like a little bit strange, a little awkward at first. So it's like, well, maybe I'll make it a little less awkward by doing a scene with them, so I can kind of like help them, get on the track of just knowing, kind of understanding who we are, what we're doing, and where we are, and stuff like that. So it was a product of that. And like, that's the cool thing about the pandemic, even though it made improv very tricky, I learned a lot, especially as a teacher, like, because there's so much things that could be distracting in the world, but just like in a Zoom meeting, you have to focus on the person with you and not be distracted by the stage or by other things happening or the audience, for example. And it was, I don't know, it was like a lot of stuff I learned. It wasn't like a perfect experience, because like most improv teachers, we were just kind of thrown into it and we just had to figure it out along the way. But it was just kind of interesting to like, be like starting to improvise with them as a way. And I was like, oh, I should do this more. And when I started teaching back here, I was like, oh, let me just keep doing this. And I don't do it like constantly. I just do it kind of like on the second day generally,
right,
as a way to just be like, because I don't want to take up their stage time or like, make it, I want to make it equal for their participation on the stage, but just being like, hey, let's just do a scene. All of you are going to do one scene tonight with me. And that's how we close the second day. And it's just kind of, it's so fun. Just like these people, like, again, they're just such clean slates. And also like, it's also the day two that I do is strictly revolving around object work and physicality. So we're also exploring the environment together, because sometimes like if you're improvising with new people, that's the first thing that they generally don't do is understand where they are, what they're doing. It's just all talking. So I was like, well, in this day two, our last thing we're going to do tonight is I'm going to do a scene with you, and we're going to start with physicality, start with some shared object work, and try to maintain it as well during the scene. And I don't know, I think it helped them connect to the scene so much more, and it gave them context for how they felt and what they were going to say. And it's a learning experience, and a lot of people may not do it because they think they suck. Like they suck at pantomime. Yeah. It's just like, we're not professional like clowns or mimers or something. Like no one's going to go to clown school for the benefit of improv. We just kind of figure it out on stage and just like, learn along the way. There might be shows where you do something physically in a scene that you've never done before. So it's not going to be perfect, but it's not meant to be perfect. It's meant to be a little bit flawed because, it's that discovery factor. We're discovering it for the first time. And now it's like, okay, let's do this thing on stage and not worry about judgment of like, oh, we think the audience thinks this is stupid or we're not doing it right. Because whatever, it's flawed, but it's at least connecting you to like your scene and your scene partner.
Yeah. I honestly haven't really thought about this till right now. And something that you just kind of coalesced for me, Sean, was that improv really is like a combination of like acting, clowning, sketch, stand up. It feels like everything, and it's like the perfect medium. Whichever one of those avenues you want to explore, it's a great jumping off point, a great base to go into any one of those 4 fields. And
people want you to know that too. Like if you're an actor and they're like, "Oh, you improvise? That's awesome." Like voice acting, especially, which is something I've been doing a little bit. Like that's a big plus on your resume because, like in voice acting, you're sometimes for your audition lines given just 5 lines that have no context whatsoever, and you're supposed to find your way in. And a lot of it comes from improvising. Just like this line, you got to think about who you are, what you're doing, where you are, and just make it your own. It may not be right, but people listening to it will be like, that's a bold choice. And they made a specific choice, even though it's not like what's written in the script, you know, based on the context of the other lines. They see that you bring that in and they're like, oh man, well, if I direct them in the right path, then they're gonna know it, you know, because they have the ability to play so many different sides of, you know, the character in the scenario. So it's a plus for everybody. And I think in life too, you know, personal lives, just knowing how to improvise. It's just like a lot of people think it's for comedy or acting. No, it's for life. It's for like communicating. Like that's it helped me burst out of my shell. I was a very introverted kid and I didn't have a lot of friends, and just learning improv brought me out, you know, gave me a sense of like, oh, I can do stuff. I can interact with people and not feel like I'm being stupid, which all comes from that self-judgment. And I don't know, it's kind of magical to like learn that, at least just in that introductory course. I think that's a big focus for us here, is just getting people being comfortable improvising. You know, it's like Mick Napier said, it's the art of not knowing what you're going to do or say, but being completely okay with it. And that's the thing. That's a plus of intro to improv, is getting people to be okay improvising.
Well, live here on Twitch, we've slowly crept past the top of the hour, so we'll wrap it up here.
But that's crazy.
I know. I mean,
like, I must have disconnected for like 30 minutes.
Honestly, the scene was so fun, and then this conversation afterwards, I've honestly, arguably, I've loved even more than the scene itself. But both of those two elements were so. Both of those. Well, you know, I love to talk about improv. I also love to do improv. I love improv. But both of those things have been so fun that I legitimately forgot that we had that little snafu there. However many hours ago, since we've been here.
Never so long. Happened before.
And it'll never happen again.
Never.
That's improv, baby. Sean, as I mentioned many times, is one of the founders and owners of Made Up Theater. Made Up Theater is, of course, located in Fremont, California. As I said, it is the theater that raised me, that brought me up right. Bobby August Jr., one of the owners, he's previously been on the show, if you'll recall. And then I also hope to have Ben and Dustin, who are both name dropped on this on future episodes. But visit madeuptheater.com for more info on all things Made Up Theater. And that is theater with an R-E, not an E-R, because
the fancy way.
That's how you do it. They have shows every Saturday night in Fremont at 8 p.m. That show is called Laugh Track City, which is a short form show, but I love short form. I mean, Val is a comedy sports player here in Chicago, or there in Chicago. I'm here in LA. And I love short form. I've always loved short form. And some of the best short form you can see is at Made Up Theater, in my humble opinion. And of course, 5Play is the name of the group that the owners go under. The Made Up Theater cast, of course, is bigger than just the 4 of them. But if you would like to see 5Play, it's always a treat when you do. The next 2 special 5Play shows are on Friday, October 21st at 9 p.m. at Made Up Theater, of course. And then Friday, December 2nd, also at 9 p.m. at Made Up Theater. And if you're in town in Fremont or the general Bay Area on that December one, there might be a special guest in the 5Play show, and it's me is who I'm talking about.
Oh man, you promised it. You better deliver, buddy.
I know. Now that I promised it, good. Give me a reason to go there. So visit Made Up Theater for all things on that, and also follow Made Up Theater on YouTube. They stream all their shows. They now have a great setup that obviously got set up during the pandemic, and it's awesome. I've tuned in a couple times. It's always good to see my old friends doing some improv. I love that. And something that we didn't talk about earlier, Sean, but listening to you talk made me think about this. On the Made Up Theater YouTube page, Sean actually has been doing this for years now. He's got a great series of videos called Mutt Tips, Mutt MUT, which is of course short for Made Up Theater. But it's just these series of short videos that are all improv tips, and they're so good and so insightful. Obviously, if you listen to Sean for the last 15 minutes here, you know how like thoughtful he is when it comes to improv. So go back, check those out. Those are like evergreen, timeless. You can pop into those anytime you want to, and you don't have to.
If you type in Mutt Tips in YouTube, it's going to take you to Madden Ultimate Team Tips. So that's not me, because I didn't think about SEO when I created the channel.
Okay, honestly, I thought, you know what? I'll tell you off what I thought. Okay. I'll tell you when we log off what I thought you were saying. So go to madeuptheater.com for all information on shows, their YouTube page. And I think you guys had your last sign up for classes of the year, but circle back to 2023. If you're looking to take improv classes, I mean, especially an intro class or a beginner class, like Sean, I think you typically teach those, and anybody you get at Made Up Theater will be great. But as I've said, Sean, one of my favorite teachers of all time. He's great. Love you, buddy. Thanks for doing this, Sean.
Man. Thanks, Val. Thanks, Trent. I really appreciate you bringing me here. Finally made it work. And this is actually my partner's birthday.
Oh, so happy birthday, Manny.
I wasn't going to come, but he is traveling back from Houston. He had to go there for the last few days. So you got lucky.
Wow.
You got lucky, buddy. I'm the white whale, but you got me.
Actually, Sean knows this. I've asked Sean probably 3 or 4 times, and every time.
The day before the
Well, sometimes.
But at least this time he gave me what, like 3 days? That's better. I like it.
Yeah, I gave you more notice. So yeah, check out Made Up Theater. I love it. It's the best. It has my heart. It always will. And then also, of course, visit thetridentnetwork.com for more information on all things Trident, live shows like this, podcasts like this, or pre-recorded content like this. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, don't forget to check out the new web series on the Trident Network, Neat Freaks. Lock into that. It's fun. Val, thank you as always. It was great to be back here with you.
So
Sean, this was great. Okay. For the rest of the month, due to assorted travel and certain members of the team may or may not need to have a tooth extracted. I'm not saying if it's me or Val, but Val seems like her hygiene's probably better. For the rest of the year, which will only be 2 more months, our shows will be the first Wednesday of the month, and then Val and I will reassess and go from there. But those 2 dates are November 2nd and December 7th, I believe. We'll be back live on Twitch at the normal time. Yes, November 2nd and December 7th. Okay, Val, anything else, or is that everything?
Well, I put your link to your family reunion in
oh my
chat.
Goodness, thank you so much. Yes, thank you, Val. If you're in the local Los Angeles area on the final Wednesday of this month, which is the 26th, I believe, or maybe the 28th. No, it's the 26th. Whatever the final Wednesday of the month is, 7 p.m. October 26th, 7 p.m., the Yard Theater, Los Angeles, California. Cam and Trent's family reunion rides again. If you have the opportunity to come check out the show, we would love it. Tickets are only $8, so pop on down, see some improv, see some stand-up, see some sketch. It's great. We love it. Sean, I love you. Val, I love you. But most importantly, I love it.